Hello everyone, Elliot Jacobson here for Advanced Advantage Play. And today I want to share an email that I got, which really is one of the best emails I've ever received. And I want to answer that email and show you exactly why it is such a great one. All right, so let's just get right to this. So here is the email, and let me read this to you. It says, "Hi Elliot. I'm a huge fan of your work, and I highly respect your passion for pursuit of truth, regardless of what others might say." I don't know who these others might be. Everybody loves me, right? "It takes a lot of courage to stick with your guns despite the naysayers." So there's some history there. So I guess this person, to even have said this sentence, must know a few things about the Advantage player community and my role in that community over these decades. That being said, hopefully you're sufficiently buttered up now. Yes, job well done. I found a few hole card games that I've been successfully able to exploit from a superstar dealer. A superstar dealer is a dealer who is so lousy at shuffling and dealing the cards that they show you their hole cards in a way where you could probably see a card you weren't supposed to see from across the entire floor of the casino. A superstar is the best kind of dealer if you are hole carding. You will never make a mistake. You will always get 100% clear view of their hole cards. One of those games he's showing a hole card for is Ultimate Texas Hold'em. But he's not just showing his hole card. He's showing a community card as well, one of the flop cards. I was wondering what kind of strategy I might need to take to exploit this game, given that I have three starting cards. I know one of the dealer's hole cards. So if you don't know this game very well, you're dealt two cards are dealt to the dealer, three cards are dealt face down. And it's sort of like the game of Texas Hold'em poker. So those three cards would be the flop, and then eventually there'd be two more cards dealt, and whoever has the highest hand at the end, you or the dealer, is the winner of the hand, and you can raise either 4x or 2x or 1x. There's a lot of rules to it, but essentially we're just talking about Texas Hold'em. So I would imagine that the edge might creep up from about 15% to around 20%, but there's no math behind my guess. Thanks, Elliot. So what a great question. So if you have never really looked at hole carding before, I want this to really encourage you to do that. I have lots of videos in my channel on how to hole card a whole wide variety of games. So let's just go ahead and look at my website for a second. So here it is, advancedadvantageplay.com. And if we sort of look at the all posts here, you will notice that under novelty games, I have articles, all sorts of articles on Ultimate Texas Hold'em. One is on basic strategy. That also just tells you what the game is, what the rules are. But you'll see that I have two different articles. I've written an article on Ultimate Texas Hold'em where you see one of the dealer's cards and one flop card. And I also have another article where you see one of the dealer's cards and a river card. So really the stuff that this person asked me about, this is exactly what I already have up on my website. And it gets even better than that. If you go to the download section of my website, you will actually find complete strategies, complete Excel spreadsheets that list every single hand and exactly how to play that hand. So I'm going to show you some of these things in this video, and hopefully it'll inspire you a little bit. All right, so let's go right to these spreadsheets, and let me just show you the very first spreadsheet. So let's look at the situation where he is seeing one dealer hole card and a flop card. So now what we want to do is go to that file. So here is that Excel spreadsheet. So this is where we're seeing, for example, a 2 of clubs and a 3 of diamonds for the players versus the dealer having a 3 of clubs. And the other card we could see is the 4 of clubs. That's the flop hole card. So this is giving you a scenario, right, for a situation. Now, this can be permuted because 2 of clubs, 3 of diamonds is the same as any two offsuits, 2 and 3. This 3 of clubs by the dealer, notice it's the same suit as the 2 of clubs. The flop card 4 of clubs is the same as the 2 and the 3. So this is telling you a situation that has 12 different permutations that essentially arise and can give you the same mathematical setting as far as the edge goes. And then what I do is I give you the expected value for checking. If you check in the situation, you would on average lose about 1.01 units. If you raise 4x in this situation, you would lose on average about 2.616 units. And so the best strategy is check. So that is what we have here in this spreadsheet. And what I have is every single situation listed. And you will notice that I have well, let's see how much we have. 187,213 different scenarios, right, are in this spreadsheet. So it's a large spreadsheet. And the very last one is when you're dealt an ace of clubs, ace of diamonds. The dealer's hole card is an ace of hearts. And an ace of spade is the hole card. So you know in advance, is the flop card. You know in advance you're pushing your aces against their aces. Maybe you'll get a flush, and that's about your only opportunity to win this, but you should go ahead and raise 4x. So this is obviously way too much to make sense of, right? You need to be able to reduce all of this data down to some simple rules. And the thing is that you can actually do that in a fairly straightforward way just by using some common sense about things. Before I do that, let me just sort of show you. If you scroll to the right here, you can see there's another table here. And let me just show you what that table is. So hang on just a second. So I actually show you the exact edge. If you use computer perfect strategy in this situation, you have a 22.3286% edge over the house. Now, let's go ahead and talk about some rules that we might make up for this game if we're trying to create a simple strategy. Well, here are 3 rules that I think you'll agree are probably going to hold. The first rule is that if I'm holding a pair and the dealer doesn't have a pair, I should raise 4x. Now, that pair might be in my hand, for example, a pair of 7s, right? The dealer could have a 4. And there's no other, the flop card is not a 4 or a 7, right? So I have a pair, the dealer doesn't have a pair. I could have a 7 deuce, the dealer could have a 6, and the flop card could be a deuce, right? So I'm going to raise 4x with my 7 deuce there. So the next situation is that if I have a pair and the dealer has an overpair, I'm going to check. So for example, I have a pair of kings, the dealer's hole card is an ace, and the flop card is an ace. So I know the dealer is going to have at least a pair of aces. That's a higher pair than my pair. I'm going to check on that. That's a pretty easy rule. The third one is a little more subtle. And this is just one rule, right, to take care of some cases. So you develop these rules and then you check them against the spreadsheet and you try and sort of fill out all the situations that can happen so that one of your rules will apply to just about anything you come up with. I think you can do this. If you really want to, you can do this. So we have a 3 flush. 3 cards of the same suit. What do I mean? The 2 cards I were dealt is a suit, and that flop card is the same suit. So I have a couple of clubs, and that's a club. And the dealer's card that they have is lower than my 2 cards. So let me actually give you an example of this. So here's a situation where I've been dealt a 6 of club and 8 of clubs. I see the dealer has a 4 of diamonds, right? And now I see that flop card is also a club. So if you go to the spreadsheet, you will see that I have a 3 flush, and in every situation, I raise 4x, except for one of those situations, which should be really obvious to you. The dealer has a 4 of diamonds. We saw that the flop card was a 4 of clubs, right? So dealer has a pair of 4s, and we just have a 3 flush. We're just going to check in that situation. So what I would say then is that you will need to go through and create these rules. That's your homework if you want to use my spreadsheet. I'm not going to do that. Now, I also have done this exact same thing for the river situation. So if you see that you have your 2 cards, the dealer's hole card, and a river card, right? One of the cards that will be dealt last before your final decision to bet 1x or fold, then that's a situation where you are given essentially an extra chance to reconsider your betting, knowing that card is going to be coming. So, for example, in the flop situation, after that flop is dealt, you're just back to basic strategy again, right? Because you don't have any more information to play the rest of the hand out after that flop is dealt. But in the case of a river card that you see, after the flop is dealt, you also have that information, a second chance to use it on the river. So you have a second chance to employ an advanced strategy. Now, those spreadsheets are way too big for me to ever get to. You're going to have to use your counting outs or some method like that. But let me just show you that same situation where we were talking about creating rules. So now we're in this situation where, just as before, if we have a pair and the dealer doesn't have a pair, we'll raise 4x. If we have a pair, the dealer has a higher pair, we'll check. Those are certainly not going to change whether it's a flop card or a river card. But let's look at that rule of us having a 3 flush and the dealer having an undercard, where I said to raise 4x before. That is not a rule now. And specifically, look at that situation. We have a 6 of clubs, 8 of clubs. The dealer flashes a 4 of diamonds. And we know there's a river card that's a 3 of clubs. So what could happen in this situation that makes it a close call? Well, the dealer now has the opportunity for a straight, right? That 4 and 3 are next to each other. So we have to be on guard for a straight. We're given a second chance to make this decision. So after the flop comes, we might have hit the flush. Of course, we're going to bet our 2x knowing that that 3 of clubs is going to get us to the flush that we want, right? So if 2 clubs come up on the flop, then we know we have another club coming on the river and we've made the flush, right? So it's going to be much more certain to make that bet after the flop has been dealt. On the other hand, we might also get the information that the dealer is 1 out away from a straight. And so we might make a decision not to go all in before the river in that case. So we are delaying making that decision until after we see the flop card. So it gets much more subtle when you see the river card. So you're going to have to work a little bit extra hard in that situation to come up with a strategy. But again, these are the sorts of situations that I hope that, I just hope you are the person who finds a game like this. So you are in the horrible situation of having to figure out all these strategies on your own. I mean, what a horrible thing to have to do a little homework in order to get a 26% edge over the house, right? So please, if you are ever in the situation where you're playing Ultimate Texas Hold'em and you see not only a dealer's hole card, but one of the other cards that's going to come later in the hand, you've got to do the work to come up with these strategies. You've got to memorize it, you've got to practice it, and you've got to crush that game. Now, this particular person was even kind of nicer than that. I mean, some people just live in the right part of the world. I want to show you his little PS that he sent to me. PS. There's a couple dealers showing hole cards in Mississippi Stud here. All right, Mississippi Stud is absolutely crushable. 50%, 70%, 100% edge over the house, depending on which card you see out of the 3. So some people just live in the right place. But I just wanted to sort of share all this with you so that you would, just see that these things do happen, that there really are these opportunities. You don't have to be one of these people deciding, should I play banker or player? Should I try and be a blackjack card counter with my 0.5% or 1% edge over the house? Should I try and earn $25 every 100 hands by counting lucky ladies or some other side bet? I mean, there are genuine opportunities out there to absolutely crush the casino. And I hope that if you're a player, you will be on the lookout for those and do everything you can to crush the house. And of course, if you're a casino, right, listen to me talking about this. Go check your dealers, go check your game, do an audit, make sure they're following the procedures, make sure they're not exposing the whole cards, because yes, I'm on the side of the person who does the best job. I'm on the player's side when they're beating the house. I'm on the house's side when they put in good defenses to restrict players from having those opportunities. So good luck to you, no matter which side you're on. And I hope this particular player makes a whole lot of money. All right, everyone, this is Elliot Jacobson. See you later.